Okay. So what we do at Havisham Consulting is the end-to-end pipeline from data analytics, visualization followed by insights, a lot of business intelligence, which allows companies to take decisions, and now, of course, generative AI. Then there are finer aspects to it, for example, automation, modeling, all of that. The basic idea is to enable companies to work with data across multiple functions. Data, of course, can come from internal, external sources, and we help them manage all of that. We have done collectively, me and my team have done over 1,500 workshops over the last decade. I personally done about 1,300 corporate trainings, primarily in India, but also across Middle East, MENA, etc. We work with over 45 clients where we do consulting projects, again, across different areas. So finance, HR, marketing, all of that. In terms of credential, we are a member of the Microsoft Partner Network, a member of NASSCOM, a member of CII. I have been listed twice as 40 under 40, once in 2019 for analytics, and once earlier this year by Business World for education. So 40 under 40 analytics, 40 under 40 education. That's the team. I'm the founder. Talha works with me as a consultant, which some of you might have interacted with. Anubhav works with us as a colleague. He's also a friend of mine. He runs his own 25-member team based out of Baroda. He does a lot of engineering work, so solution architecture, DevOps, all of that. He's one of India's leading blockchain cryptocurrency experts as well. Ronak works with us as a trainer. He does trainings on primarily Excel, PowerPoint, and Power BI. Jasmine is based out of Dubai, where we have a few clients, and she takes care of brand and communication for us. And Mr. Suri was head of digital technology at Bharat Petroleum. He just retired earlier this year. So he was there for 38 years, and he was heading entire Bharat Petroleum digital technology, which is a Fortune 500 company. In terms of clients, we work across multiple companies across sectors. So a lot of work in the energy space. So Gensol, Sterlite, Azure, Renew, Bharat Petroleum, of course. In CPG healthcare services, we work with the Landmark Group in Dubai, which is the largest retailer. We work with Diageo, with Dhanapal Satyapal Group here in Noida, with Metropolis Healthcare, and so on. I also work as a consultant with National Skill Development Corporation, with National Stock Exchange, with NABARD. In the BFSI space, I have done over 300 workshops for EY and PwC, and we continue to work very closely with D. Shaw and Anderson, doing trainings typically for them on Excel, automation, VBA, Power Query, etc. What we do is four things. So we help companies with descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, and prescriptive. Descriptive is where we tell them what's happening in their data. Diagnostic is where we tell them why something is happening, why are sales coming down, why is their acquisition cost going up. Predictive is where we help build models and simulations to help them figure out what's expected to happen, what is going to happen on the basis of the current trend. Prescriptive is where we give them recommendations as to what are the corrections they need to make to be able to, let's say, control the attrition in an organization. These are some type of projects we do. So we help improve model, write formula, dashboard, connect files, create front ends, create workflow architecture. These are trainings I've done at Indian Oil, Bharat Petroleum, National Stock Exchange, National Institute of Financial Management, NABARD. The tools are, again, Excel, Power BI, Tableau, ChatGPT, a bunch of other AI tools now. In fact, I have to update this. I'll just make a note of it. So the AI tools has to be updated. Yeah, so that's what we do. I will also quickly show you our corporate deck for the customer stories so that you just have an idea, right, in terms of what I do. So these are some type of projects we have done for finance. So project planning, budget versus actual variance analysis, COGS management, credit scoring, consolidation of disbursement advices, financial operations, a lot of work for web scraping, and again, a lot of Excel formulas, VBA, Power Query, TypeScript, Python. We've done a number of projects for Shell as well. Shell has taken over a company in Pune called Spring Energy. That's what we do. In HR, we again do a lot of work in talent development, succession planning. We do surveys and analytics for them. A lot of attrition analysis to figure out why are employees leaving. Creation of dashboards. A lot of automation work as well, right? So yeah, like that. In marketing, again, forecasting, customer research, sentiment analysis, automation work. Okay, and finally, we also have a YouTube channel, or rather, I have a YouTube channel where there are over 1,400 videos covering what we discussed. So Excel at different levels, PowerPoint, Power BI, Tableau, a lot of work on generative AI now, and introduction to Python, introduction to programming, like that. Everything is neatly categorized into playlists. So you can search for, sort of the topic that you're more interested in, and you can find that, right? So whether it's VLOOKUP, generative AI, consulting slides, JavaScript, right? Perfect. I'm going to share this with you in case you're interested and you want to have a look. Yeah, absolutely. You will get the recording as well, right? Great. I think let's get started. So the first example I want to cover is something a little boring, but it is also probably the thing that you will do most of the time, right? So it's very important to sort of figure out how this works. So what I'm showing you right now is how generative AI can help us, write formulas. And let me open my file. Let's come to maybe customer segmentation, loan application. Perfect. So this is what we are working on. I have with me a data set. It's a fictitious data set, but it is representative of a real data set, which means this is exactly how companies will be capturing their data. Do I have actual data with me? Of course, I can't share it with you. I can't even show it to you, right? But this is as good as a real data set. So we have a 36 column for customer, age, income, credit score, education level, loan duration, so on and so forth, right? And what we are essentially trying to do is understand the credit worthiness of an individual basis various factors. And let us say the organization wants to understand what is the risk appetite and the risk profile. We can do that. So what we are doing right now is imagine we want to write a formula. I have my age and I want to probably break my age into groups. So my youngest customer is 18 and the oldest is 80. And I want to make 5 groups, maybe 18 to 25, 26, 35, like that. Everybody needs to do it. The question is, how are you going to do it? How do you decide what is the appropriate group for you? Now, what I'm going to do here is, please watch. I'm going to take the file, right, and upload it on ChatGPT. And I'm going to ask it that I want to create 5 age groups. Basis the data, give me 10 options. That means I want to figure out, should I base it as per equal interval, like 18 to 27, 28 to 37, like that? Or should I look at maybe the other columns like the risk profile, who has a better credit score, maybe income, or maybe a combination? Or maybe the life stage, like 18 to 25, let's say, typically unmarried, lesser income. 25 to 34 is, early stage of your career. 36 to 45 is where you're typically earning much more, have a family, etc. So what it does is it writes the Python code. First, it reads the data, looks at the sheet, understands the structure, the columns that are there. After that, it looks at age distribution. And now it gives me ideas that, hey, you can look at equal interval, like I told you. I can maybe look at quartile, which are 25% into 4. I can look at young, middle, senior. So typically how a marketing company would want to target a customer, young adult, early career, mid career, from the point of view of employment. Like I said, early loan seeker, first major loan, this is the peak earning year, right? We call it peak because people are also spending much more. 45, 59 is where you start spending on education and pre-retirement plans. Loan risk based, focus on job tenure. Now, even though this session is on Excel, I also want to show you how to present it, because eventually analytics and Excel is used for what? To take a decision, right? And to be able to do that, you have to present it in a beautiful manner. So what I'm going to do here is I will go to another tool called Claude. I'm assuming many of you might have used it. And I can just put all of this and I can say, create a visually appealing, dynamic, um, controllable HTML page. I want a, like a T-shirt style. And I want a 16 by 9 format, right? So what it does is it takes the content that I have given to it, and I want to make visually appealing, dynamic, controllable HTML page, T-shirt style, and 16 by 9. So if you notice, it's picking up the color as per its understanding. Of course, we can also tell it what hex codes we want. Let's say we're working with a particular brand. So maybe if you're working with, you know, a company and I want to look at other colors that other companies use, I can look at brandcolors.net and figure out, what the right color is going to be. Perfect. So that's what it does. It's writing the HTML code for you. This panel is called an artifact, as you can see. And if I can scroll, you can see it's creating, right, the entire framework. Once that is done, these are the 10 points, right? This is the classification select. After this, you will have, if you notice, background color, the details panel. This is the footer. After the footer, we have everything else. Let it complete. Should take about another 5-10 seconds. And event listener, right? That's the last part. So I just download it. We will open it as a web page. It's HTML after all. And see, it gives you this. Now I have equal interval, correct? Like this. I have based on quartile, focus on job tenure. Right? So it has made a histogram essentially, right? 18 to 80, right? And it tells me the type of loans that can be there. Of course, the answer will be different every time because it's a large language model. So there is randomness in it. But if you tell it exactly what you need, like with more specifics, it will create the same thing for you. And once you're done, if you want to make modifications, I can either make the modification on Claude, or go to an HTML viewer, or I don't know, like we just copy the code like Visual Studio, and I can change the code here as well. Of course, that will require some knowledge of programming, but at least the option is there. Perfect. So just quick recap. I got ideas for what to base the group on, right? Then I was able to visualize it on Claude and also create an HTML page. But the question is, where's the formula? So imagine I select one of these, right? So I will say, hey, you know what? I really like this one, the young, middle, senior. So now I can tell it, okay, create an Excel formula for option 3, right? Now I am going to tell it that my formula is dependent on the cell B2. So I'll say age is in B2. We don't have to tell it where the formula will come, but we do have to tell it where the formula is going to refer to. That's it. It writes the formula, you copy it, come back, paste it, and double click, and you're done. Right? So that's your age group. Okay, so I'll take a small pause. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Hello.
Hi, yes.
Yeah. So basically, I have a question. ठीक है. In this case, what we did कि हमारे पे already ChatGPT gave us the different fields, like for example different parameters, young, medium, or old age groups, or maybe
Yeah.
based on the quartile, right? So in this way we had the whole data in ChatGPT itself, then we uploaded it to cloud to make a controllable HTML page, right? But
Yep.
let's assume we have a CSV, right? The CSV you initially showed with the HRMIS data, right? Can we use the whole CSV to create a HTML controllable page? Is it possible or is it not?
Sure, you can't do it here though. You can do it on Claude, but Claude will not
Okay.
write Python. Claude will be writing JavaScript for you. Um,
Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, just a 1 minute example. So I can just go to Claude. Do remember, I have paid versions of all these tools because uploading
Okay,
doesn't
okay,
work on the free version, right? And even if it works, it will be limited to maybe only a few uploads. So I'll just select my extended model in 3.7 Sonnet, which is a more powerful model.
okay,
And I'm going to upload my loan application. Just going to tell it, hey, I want a 16 by 9 HTML page. I want, actually for a dashboard, HTML is not preferable because then you should be using React, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say I want a React dashboard, which is the front end for JavaScript. And I say show a dynamic, no, show three charts. And I will say one is on risk profile, one is on income versus age scatter, right? And the third one, let me just check the data, is on maybe the loan purpose, right? So I'm going to say a loan purpose by age group, right? And then I'm going to say add slicers at the top, right? So as you can see, when you ask it to create a React dashboard, ignore this GitHub failure. When you ask it to create a React dashboard, so this time um, the code is not HTML. So first it's writing JavaScript. Unlike ChatGPT that uses Python, this is using JavaScript and it is giving you, as you can see, it will take some time, but right. And typically if it finds an error, it autocorrects it, right? So you don't have to do much. We'll have to wait. Okay, while this is happening, in the meantime, I've shown you the ideas. I've shown you the HTML and the formula. Let me just make a pivot table. And imagine you have made a pivot, which is maybe my employment status, my marital status, and I have my risk score, okay? Average. And I also have my net worth, right? Which is like this, which is my average net worth. Now think about it. If I ask you, hi everyone, can you tell me what is the insight that you can draw from this, right? In fact, let me just keep something so the numbers are a little different. I think the numbers are too, um, just let me check. Maybe if I only select, yeah, I think now we have some variation, right? Okay, I'll explain. Let me first show you this. It's getting some error. Okay. Anyway, now that we have started, let's complete it. The funny part is sometimes the more advanced model overthinks, right? If I had done it with the basic one, I know for a fact that it works perfectly. It's just needlessly making it complicated, but that's okay. By the way, you can see the code, right, for each one of them. So what it's not a black box, right? You can see what all is happening. Okay, you know what? I'm going to do it again because This will take forever. Hold on. Let me just take my regular model and okay. Let's do it parallelly. I think you guys are smart. You can catch up with me. So what
Yeah.
we are doing here is I have this, and if I ask you, hey, tell me some insight, it's so hard, right? Like you have to look at each number and okay, here it is 62, it is 52, but here it is 71, it is 52. You get my point, right? Now what I can do is I can just select this. Let me just take another screenshot. I can just select this, okay? Take it to Claude. I'll open a new window. And now look what I'm doing. I'm asking it to give me insights. That means I'll paste the image. I say, give me 10 insights. I want an HTML page with, icons and visual appeal. Remember, now we are not talking about writing a formula. I've already done that part. I'm talking about the next step, which is, hey, I've written the formula, I've made the pivot. But now, what am I supposed to tell the client? I can't just take a screenshot and show my client, which is what typically students do in competitions, right? So I also teach at a lot of colleges. So I'm a visiting faculty at IIM Kohikode, at IIT Ghaziabad, at MDI Murshidabad, and I judge a lot of competitions. So what ends up happening is everybody will just make this and put it on PPT. But the point is I want to know the insights which are there, right? And I'm not saying students don't do it. All I'm saying is we expect more of it, right? And this is how AI can help you. As you can see, literally with one screenshot, what it is able to do now is, as you can see, it has the intelligence to be able to give you insights. Let's also see if this is working. Yeah, it's just one of those days, right? It's stuck. Yeah, but as you can see, this is beautiful, right? Check this out. And this is all with one single image that I gave it. Self-employed individual have the highest average net worth. Do you want to check? Look, if you see here, this is self-employed, right? And if you see highest average net worth, 72. Clearly, between employed, self-employed, unemployed, you can see the maximum. Exceeding both employed and unemployed categories. So it's writing a complete sentence. Self-employed net worth is 5.4% higher than the overall average. Again, if you notice, if I say equal to B9, right, divided by B19 minus 1. You see what I'm doing, right? It is so amazing that look at this number, right? Actually, I'm not sure why it gave me a slightly different number. If you allow me, um, overall I have 68939. Okay, hold on. Yeah. Okay, the number's a little off, but that's okay. Like I said, you can always change that. I'm not quite sure why that happened because the numbers seem to get picked up. 638. Yeah, 62939. Yeah, anyway, but that's okay. Like I said, at least 95% of your work is done. This is amazing. Single self-employed people have 25% higher net worth than overall average, right? Right? This one, and so on. But the point is, if you say, Havish, the numbers are not correct, that's okay. This is generative AI, not factual AI. My expectation was not even that it will do that. The fact that it is able to do it is fantastic. Also, I would never write the prompt directly. I'll probably ask it to do it step by step. First, do the calculation so I can verify it and then go ahead, right? But from a presentation perspective, if this is what you show to your client, this is such good quality, I can show it to my client, right? And all of this we used to do with so much effort before, and now it's literally one prompt, right? This one, like I said, ignore it. We'll, probably do it later on ChatGPT. Okay, so formula, ideas, and of course, getting insights from a table. We have covered all of that. If you want ideas on the entire data, which is the entire thing, I can just copy the columns and I can paste the columns and I can tell it, give 15 ideas. I want intermediate, advanced, and super advanced. And I want the KPI along with the relevance and along with the formulas, right? And along with how to present to client. And I want to make sure to use only the columns provided, right? And while this is happening, let me close this file and I'll show a different one to you, right? Because that data is a little better quality. So I think we'll get better output as well. Hold on. So I'm going to show you data sets and this very nice sales data, which is global superstore orders. 15 columns, 51,000 rows, sales for a company selling products internationally, right? So we have the date, the customer name, the geography, product, category, segment, sales quantity, discount, and profit, right? So I'm going to work on this. But first, let me show you this. Amazing, right? So imagine you're doing financial ratios or something like that. It can actually look at the columns you have and tell you what type of analytics you can do. It's not doing it because I'm not given the data. I'm only given the heading. But all of this has to be done by somebody, what we typically call a BRD, a business requirement document. And now, do you see this? It's actually doing everything for you, right? Like this. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you how important it is. In fact, I don't mind showing you one of the BRDs, that we have spent days creating. Look at this. This is a BRD, which is this one. This is something we had done with the client long back. So we literally had to create all this. This is all pre-GenAI, right? What is the domain? What is the filter? What is the KPI? What is the formula? What is the data source? Just look at this. It took us so much time to create it, organize it, proofread it, get it verified. And this was very important. We had to do it. And now you can literally ask it to do it for you, right? This is brilliant, right? And if I copy the entire thing, I can't help but show you. If I take the entire thing and I go to Claude and I ask it, hey, this is the content, and create a visually impressive, dynamic HTML page in 16 by 9 format with colors and icons. Check this out. Right? And while this is happening, let's come to, oh, I'm sorry, any question on this, anyone, on getting ideas for what to analyze? Then we'll continue. Just tell me whatever you're thinking. There are no good or bad questions. Anything on your
Uh,
mind?
So,
Hello.
okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh, so do you think since you told us that the results may get changed every time we send in the prompt, do you think that the results can get more accurate with if we assign the role during the process and if we tell it to
absolutely.
do
It could
step by
be
step?
maybe not the role as such, but yeah, I mean, if you do it step by step, I think it will be better. I'm actually quite surprised that it didn't pick up the correct number because in all my testing, it's always
Hmm.
correct. I actually use it as a consultant. It's just one of those things, right? And I'm sure with a little better prompting, you would have got the right result. I mean, there's no reason for it not to be able to do that.
And like, is there any particular uh, we have right now different LLMs. So if I have to choose a particular LLM which can do better computation, what will be your suggestion? Like,
ChatGPT.
I ChatGPT.
ChatGPT.
Oh,
Yeah, ChatGPT. I also have a video on my channel which is called Tool Comparison, where I have compared different LLMs to tell you how do you decide which one to use for what task, right? But there's no like best one. It depends on the task. Like ChatGPT is great at analytics, which I'll show you just now, because we weren't able to do that example, and I don't want to leave anything half complete. So I'm going to take my loan application. I'll do an example for you. But generally, ChatGPT is the best because it uses Python. But if you want dynamic charts and all, Claude is better because it uses React, right? But I hope you can see. Pretty good, right? Right. And I have an expand feature, right? So yeah, there you go. Okay, so perfect. Let's go ahead. I hope there are no other questions. Does the role get more accurate role assignment? Absolutely, 100%. That goes without saying, right? But if you ask me, hey, but what's the role and what's the prompt? That's creativity, right? I mean, you have to keep on experimenting. All right. One more time, I say read it. Now we'll go a little slower because unfortunately Claude was not able to do it. So I'm going to make a more cautious approach. I'm going to first tell it to read it, right? And then you can basically tell it what type of chart you wanted to create. So as you can see, it first understands the data and the structure. And once it has done that, I can now ask it, create a line column chart to show each group by average credit score. Okay. Now, if you say, but where did you tell it what the age group is? I did not. So it is taking equal sizes, 20, 29, 30, 39, so on. That's the point, right? This isn't correct because anybody who's less than 20 has not even been considered. So the learning is that I should have been more careful. It is making the chart, which is okay. But the point is, I have to tell it, hold on, please make sure that this each group considers the min and the max value, isn't it? And now if you notice, it will first find the min and max and then accordingly create the age group. So this time, the bins are created accordingly. See, that's the point. A lot of people feel, why do we need to learn Excel and Power BI and what is going to be the future if everything is done by AI? But you still need to tell it, right? If somebody just goes and blindly asks it to do something, the answer is not correct. It looks correct, but it is actually not correct, right? So the tool has to be told what to do, right? And now if you notice, it's giving you 10 to 19. But then again, the point is, I might say, why have you kept 10 to 19? That's irrelevant, no? Because if my youngest person is 18, then it should start from 18. So I can now tell it, I would rather want from 18 to 25, 26 to 35, 36 to 50, 51 to 60, and then 61 to 80, or whatever numbers you want. But the point is, you have to instruct it at each step because otherwise it is still a machine, right? It's very intelligent, very powerful, but it doesn't really have that sensibility of what you want, right? So now it looks a lot better. Now I can do a lot of formatting on it. For example, if I say, add a horizontal line in black dashed color, and the line should be at 325. See my point? Add a horizontal line in black dashed color at 325. Now, if you notice, it adds a line. Then whatever else you want to do, you want to say change the color of 2635 to, I don't know, blue. You can simply give it instructions as to what you need, and it will do it for you. So if you notice now, except that one column, everything else is gray, and this one is highlighted, right? Like that. If I say, okay, use colors used by PwC, right? It might not know it perfectly, but it will get it fairly correct. And now if you notice, it almost looks like a PwC chart. Pretty good, right? And I'm sure all of you have seen PwC charts earlier. Check this out. You see my point? The type of colors that are there, especially this one, right? Not 100% the same, but quite close to it. And I quite like it, right? And then you can also make more advanced chart. You can say, okay, thanks. Let us go on. Now I'll say, I want a scatter chart for, no, I'll ask you for suggestion. I say, I want a scatter chart. Suggest what columns to keep. So remember, the job of an analyst like me is not just to blindly, mechanically start making charts and writing formula. We are also responsible for selecting the right one, isn't it? So what I'm doing here is, if you notice, I can go to a website called Flourish. And if you haven't seen it, you should absolutely go to the website. It's called flourish.studio. Hi, I'm just going to keep everybody on mute. Please unmute yourself only if required, right? Whenever you want. So if I go to flourish.studio, this is a great way of seeing, what are the types of charts that companies create. Like if you just look at the gallery, look at this. Like I use it all the time just to get a sense of what types of charts are, available. Because there is typically not a perfect chart. Like I can make multiple charts for one type of data, but I really have to decide which is the most appropriate one. Now, nobody's going to do that for you. You only have to do it, right? And of course, there are many, many, many charts available. So the point is, I'm going to tell it, I want to scatter chart what columns to keep. So it's giving me ideas, credit score, loan amount, and so on. I'll take the first one. I'll say, okay, this is good. Credit score versus loan amount. I say, take the first one. Okay, as you can see, it makes credit score versus loan amount. But now the point is, I say, okay, but it doesn't make sense, right? Because it's just too many values that are there. So I'm going to say, okay, reverse X and Y. And as you can see, now it looks like this. But even now, the problem is there's just too much density, right? So I'm going to tell it, okay, let's keep a filter. And what is my filter going to be? Something like only show me customers who are above a score of, if you see, the highest is 712. So I say, I only want to see people who are above 675. So I say, only show those above 675. It's like a filter. And now if you notice, it will automatically filter the data. Looks a lot better. I'm sure you will agree. Now on top of it, if you want to do some analytics, so if I say, okay, let us do k-means. Now see, this is not the session for me to teach you. If you know, good for you. If you don't, you should read about it. So k-means, knn are two of the most popular machine learning methods, simple ones. K-means is unsupervised, knn is supervised, right? So of course, I won't explain it to you. You can do that online. But if I say, let us do k-means, what it does is, it uses scikit-learn, right, which is a library on Python. And as you can see, it is able to it's taking some time. We'll wait. In the meantime, let me come back to my data. I'll make a pivot. I want to show you something very cool. So now Python is there in Excel as well, right? So under formulas, we have Python. You do need to have the Microsoft 365 version with you. It won't work on other versions, right? Because Python runs on the cloud, but it is available to all users of Microsoft 365, correct? So once this is done, I'll also show you Python on Excel. I might have to refresh it. Hold on. You know what? I think I'll have to run it again. Hold on. Anyway, so what I'm doing is I'm just keeping my market, something very simple, okay? Nothing very advanced like this, because it does take time, right, to set it up. And I don't know why it errored, but okay, wait. Okay, we're just unlucky. But I do want to show you the examples. So with your permission, I'm going to go to loan application. I'll jump into it straight away. I say scatter chart, show average age. We can do anything, right? And credit score. only show credit score greater than 675, also do K-means, right? Okay, while this is fine, we'll wait. Let's not mix it up. Yeah, here you go. Right? So we have a scatter chart, right? And we have a K-means. So it tells me what the centroid is. Of course, I won't explain all this right now, but it tells me what the centroid is and breaks it into 0, 1, and 2, three different groups. So from a classification regression perspective, it is so handy. Now, if you say, but I don't know how this works, see, for that you have to go back and learn statistics, learn sklearn. You have to understand, what a k-means is, why are we doing three clusters, what is the elbow method, so that you can watch any video online. I just wanted to show you that it is possible, right? Okay, now let me show you Python on Excel, then let me know if you have any question. Now, with Python on Excel, I can go to any cell and I can write equal to py, like this, okay? For example, if I say x is equal to hello world, right? And I say x and I press Control Enter, you will notice it gives me hello world. Basically, I'm running Python like this. Now, what I'm going to do here is assuming that a typical user doesn't understand Python. Why would they? In marketing, HR, sales, all of that. So what I'm going to do is I need to somehow combine ChatGPT and Excel together to arrive at the result. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell this is very smart. Okay, please watch. I'm just going to call this market. I'm going to call this sales. Okay. The first thing is I'll make a data frame, which is I'll just say equal to py, and I'll say my data frame is equal to Excel. Actually, we don't even need to write that. We just say df is equal to, and I select my data. It assumes that my headers are true. That means I have headers in my data, which will be typical. Now, what it does is, now when I press Control Enter, it just saves it in a data frame, which means if I click on it, you can see the data has been put in a data frame, a DF. Now I can go back. This is very smart, okay? Imagine as a non-programmer, you don't have to worry because I can now go back and I can tell it, hey, I have a data frame, okay? Create a pie chart or whatever, a column chart to show sum of sales by market. So I, of course, have to tell it what columns I have. So now if you notice, it doesn't care whether it's on Visual Studio or Excel or whatever. I'll just say, hey, just give me the code. I don't want it to do it for me. I just want to get the code that I can bring back in Excel. So now if you notice, it is creating the data frame like this. But here's the thing. Why do I need to create the data? I already have the data, isn't it? So I can only start from this part, which is the C. First is the grouping, right? Then we have the column chart like this. Now, if you notice, I simply have to take this, copy it, come back. I can also do it in the formula bar. I can paste it and I press Control Enter. And if you see, I'll get my chart. I'm not sure how the chart will come on the image will come on the sheet. 1 second. I'm sorry, I don't actually use this much because sorry, I have no idea. 1 second. Maybe can I say equal to g4 dot image or something? Yeah, here it is. And now how do I make it bigger? Anyway, that you can figure out on your own. I'm not sure how to do it, but this is amazing, right? Like we are actually able to get the same result. And I didn't have to write a single line of code. And essentially, of course, not all libraries are supported in Excel. Basic ones are. So your NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, Seaborn, they're all supported, even scikit-learn. So, Excel is basically now like your development environment, which is so cool, isn't it? Perfect. Any questions, anyone?
Just a normal question. So is it only available in the 365 paid version, right?
Correct. Like you don't
Okay.
have to pay separately for it. It's a part of Excel now, right? So yeah.
Okay.
Uh, I want to ask you a question. I mean, earlier you were doing k-means. So
Yeah.
normally when we do k-means, we do tell the code that in the clusters in which we want to look for, like say 2 to 10 or something like that. But
No, KBS has an
here,
auto detection also. When you do it in Power BI and Tableau,
hmm,
you have the choice either to tell it how many you need.
okay,
Otherwise, it will, even Power BI and Tableau have an auto detect. Like I said, if you did not want it to auto detect, then we could have first asked it to do the elbow
hmm,
method and it would have
elbow
done.
method.
Absolutely. So if you say first do the elbow, here you go, right? So it's first doing the elbow for you. Anyway, the session is not really about programming. It's more about learning how to work with Excel better, right? And remember, you can do all this on Excel directly as well. Now, I'm very curious as to why. No. Finally. I'm sorry. Took a while, but I finally been able to do it. Okay. So this is so cool. And everyone, this is dynamic. Okay. Don't forget that part, right? This isn't a static chart. Like if I change my number, I don't know, make it 200,000. Do you see this? It's a dynamic, like it's amazing. Excel and Python working, in partnership. It's so beautiful. Okay. Yeah, but anyway, like I said, you can do the elbow method here as well. Okay. What else can I show you? Yeah, now let's do a little more complex formulas. So in Excel, we have something called, I'll show you here. Let's say I have a name, right? Or I'll use my name. Okay, so let's say I want to reverse the name, which is first name, comma, last name, or last name, comma, first name, or last name, first name, whatever it is. Now, of course, you can write the formula. Like if I tell it, let me just show it to you side by side. If I tell Chat GPT that, hey, Excel formula, B2 has a name, and actually I say B2 has this name, and you say, I want the expected output is Madhupati Havish. Okay, watch this. What is it doing? It's creating the formula for you. Now I can copy it. And as you can see, I can paste it and it works perfectly. What if I want to create a reusable function? All of us know what a function is. A function is like a sum because it's an inbuilt function which does one task, which is to add numbers. On the other hand, when I say equal to something, that becomes a formula, right? So formula is what you build using the functions that you have. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell it, make this a lambda. Now remember, lambda also is available only on the more recent versions of Excel. Now I don't exactly remember which version support it. I would think it's 2021 and above, but let me just check once. No, only 365, okay? Not backward compatible. But anyway, what it does is it basically creates a lambda for me, which by the way is there in Python as well. I can copy it. It's also telling me what to do. So I can go to formulas, everyone. I can go to name manager, which is, let me just expand it, which is here. I will create a new name and I'll call it, this is the formula, and I'll call it some name. I'll just call it swap, right? Like this. Now we have actually registered my own function within Excel without programming. So I can say swap and it will reverse it for me like that. So just think about what we did. Let me know if you have any question. So I first wrote a formula, but I said I don't want to write the formula or copy and paste it every time, right? I just want to be able to convert it into a lambda. AI is doing that for you. It's writing the lambda for you, and then I can register it on my Excel and then use it like this.
Hello.
Yep.
Yeah, really sorry, sir. Can you please show us the process again, how you registered the formula?
Yeah, I mean, I will. I'm just saying that that's not really the part that you should focus on because that you can always figure out later, right?
Okay.
I mean,
Hmm.
I'll show you. I don't mind. I'm just saying that always focus on the learning, not on the steps. Steps are okay. You can find that anyway. Anyway, I have a lot of content on Lambda as well, but just to show you again, once you copy the formula, you have to go to formulas, right? And name manager.
Hmm.
And in this, you just create a new name. And what I've done is I've created a name, give it any name you want, and just paste the lambda here, right? Like this.
And it's available on all the versions of Excel.
Only the latest version, 365. The name
Okay.
manager is there in all versions, but the lambda
Hmm.
is only supported in 365.
Okay.
Right? Perfect. Any other questions? Anyone? Okay, let's do a bit of VBA automation now. So what I want to do is I want to create a table of content. I have 3 sheets with me, sheet 1, sheet 2, and orders compact. And I want to make a sheet called index where there'll be a list of all the sheets. For that matter, let me make 5 sheets. So this is VBA, which is Visual Basic for Application. It is one among many programming languages available in Excel. So just to give you a quick overview, this is Excel, everyone. Let me show you the PowerPoint. Okay. So Excel has different versions. The latest one is called Microsoft 365. By the way, now there is no more Office. The Office name has been removed. Now it is only Microsoft 365. There is a 2024, but this doesn't have all the features. It is cheaper, but perpetual license, but it won't get updates. So don't buy it. The one you need is Microsoft 365. In 365, you can also change the channel to the beta channel if you want early but untested features. Okay. So you have formulas and function where we have dynamic arrays, we have regular expression, we have lambda, the one I showed you. Then you have statistical analysis with data analysis toolpath. First language is M, which is Power Query, also available on Power BI, which basically allows you to connect to different data sets and perform ETL. The language you see here is called the M code. Then we have Power Pivot, which uses a language called DAX, Data Analysis Expression, also available on Power BI. This allows you to write formulas on a pivot table and also create models. Then we have VBA, which I'm going to show you, Visual Basic for Application, over 30 years old. It's a dead language in many ways, but because it's on Excel, it's very important, especially if you're in finance, which I know many of you are. This is what VBA code looks like, the one I'm going to create. You can also use VBA to create front end, like the one that you see. Then you have TypeScript, which is based on JavaScript. This is also available on Microsoft 365. You have Automate, and you can write essentially JavaScript on it. Python, I've already shown you. We also have support for Anaconda Toolbox. Then you have add-ins available, right? Then you have an add-in called Excel Labs. You have Microsoft Copilot, which I'm yet to show you. Then I also have OpenAI API. So ChatGPT can be integrated with Excel, which I have with me. So I'll show that to you. Excel can also connect with Power BI. And of course, GenAI, you can write formulas and all these things are there. So I'll share it with you, the PDF. Just give me a moment. I don't know if I'm allowed to share it on the chat window. 1 second. Yeah, I think I can. Yeah, there you go. This covers pretty much, at least at a high level, what all is there in Excel. Anyway, so I want to write VBA code. For this, I need the developer tab. how to get the developer and all. I'm not going to cover it because remember, this is not a proper workshop. It's just a demonstration, awareness session for you to know what is possible, right? How do you do it? You can find it on my channel. But once you have the developer tab, which is there on all versions of Excel, I can just click on Visual Basic. And this, everyone, is where you do programming. As you can see, this is my programming interface. It has been in Excel since what, 1993, if I'm not mistaken, right? But the code, where do you write the code? So I can just go back to ChatGPT and I can say, hey, I want a VBA code. Okay. Create a new sheet called index. Create a list of all sheet names with a hyperlink. Okay. If the index sheet already exists, ask the user before deleting. So you just give it a natural language prompt, nothing complicated. There's no structure or anything. It just has to be properly explained. What it does is it gives you the entire code, like we got the Python code earlier. This is Visual Basic for application. It's a language that only works on Microsoft Office, even though now there's no more Office, Excel, Word, PowerPoint, Outlook, like that. So I copy it, come back and paste it. Okay. How do you run it? I can just go to developer and there's an option called macros. You can also go to view and here also there's an option called macros. So I can run my macro, which is called create index sheet. Now, when I click on run, that's it. One click and you have automated your work. If I run it one more time, let's say I add 3 more sheets, correct? And I run it one more time, macros and run. Now, this time it's going to ask me, hey, the index sheet already exists. Do you want to recreate it? If I say no, nothing happens. And if I say yes, right, it does this. Now, you might say, but so why is the index sheet coming in the middle of all the sheet? That's the point. You have to tell these things. So I'll have to go back and tell it. Everything is perfect. Everything is perfect. But the index sheet should be the first sheet of the file. And as you can see, we're just refactoring. We're adding more elements to the code, right? So I can copy it, come back, and then paste it. Okay. Like this. One more time, I'll run the code. And if you see, right, do you see this? Index is in the beginning. Even if I shift it, the next time when I run it, and I say yes, it will again come in the beginning every time. Yeah. Any questions on this, anyone?
No, sir.
I'll wait for a minute.
I had a question regarding VBA.
Sure.
Sometimes VBA takes a lot of time. It is a quite slow process when the code is maybe large for the system. My laptop has hanged several times because of that. So, is there any way to avoid that?
Optimize VBA code. So if you just write VBA code, it will be slow. So you have to learn how to optimize VBA code. There are a number of things you can do there. It could be writing arrays, creating class modules, right? So if I just select give me tips, right? Because as a programmer, writing code is one thing, but then you have to learn how to optimize it. Not just reducing the lines of code, but this and this, there's a big difference. Execution time will be different depending on whether you're using, with and end with, whether you're turning off, I don't know if you do all this, manual calculation, turn off screen updating, using loops, using arrays, avoiding repetitive access to sheets, right? Like that. I'm not saying any and every VBA code will be fast, but then can I show you something? So look at what I've created here is not to do with your computer speed. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's more to do with the optimization of the code that you have done. So I'm showing you a project that I have done with a client. Check this out. This entire form, right, has been made on VBA. Look at this. What you see right now, right? This entire form has been, it's almost like a software, right? I can go to individual, I can expand. You don't see any slowdown. Sure, I have a very powerful laptop, but that's beside the point, right? This will work on any computer, right? And this is all connected to live data, right? What you see right now. Right, so just learn optimization, right? You can see number of things we can do here, right? And just go online and watch a few videos and all. Learn how to optimize VBA code. It's quite technical, but I mean, there's no shortcuts there, right? You have to figure out all of this.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
And you can watch this playlist called Excel Macro Mastery. This is one of the best ones, right? His name is Paul Kelly, and he's like, he only does VBA. He's one of the VBA experts, right? And you should definitely watch this. There you go.
Thank you, sir.
My pleasure. Right? Like this, how to make it run faster. Because that's a challenge everybody has, right? Cool. Any other question? Anyone? We clean up a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I've shown you ideas for analysis. We have seen HTML, formulas, Lambda. I've shown you how to, you know, get ideas for analysis, VBA code. We have seen the Python part, how to integrate ChatGPT Python on Excel. I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, within these things, you can, of course, go deeper and do more advanced things, but that's pretty much what I do, right? And I hope this gives you an idea in terms of what all it can do. I've also shown you how to upload the file and, sort of work on that. Yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. Anything, even, you know, even if you feel the question is not important, please do ask. This is the right opportunity for you. Perfect. I'm also sharing a playlist with you. I mean, not a playlist, more of a collection of videos. So this is from my channel, obviously. And what I've done here is I have compiled all the videos that are there, or at least all the important ones, into a PDF. So this way you will know exactly what order to watch it in and sort of directly go to the one that you are interested in. So all the videos that I have, like generative AI, Excel, Python, PowerPoint, like that. So, all of this is broken into different categories. Like only for Excel, I have videos on that, right? If you want to see something more advanced, let's say Visual Basic, there's an entire playlist on VBA and the links have been given as well. Again, for Lambda, there's a different one, right? Like that. Even for Power Query, there's a different one. Power Query will be in Power BI. So in Power BI, we have something on Power Query. We have one on DAX, right? So of course, same thing, like we are writing formulas on, for an Excel formula, you can write formulas for DAX and M as well. Right now, it won't make much sense because I'm assuming many of you might not have done it, but same thing, just like you write Excel formulas, I can say, hey, write DAX formulas to find, YY change, and it will do it for you. Okay. Oh, wait, there's one more example I would like to cover. So yeah, this one we didn't cover. Let me show you. I think you will like this. So let me show you the same data, which is Global Superstore. Hold on. Okay. I'm not sure my file is not opening. 1 second. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm already on that file. My mistake. So what I was showing you was that, if you make a table, right, and you want to, we saw the insights, no, but you can also format charts. For example, let's say I have year in the column, month in the rows. I'm assuming all of you know how to make a pivot table like this. Look what I can do. I can just take a screenshot of this. This is very, very cool. Okay. I can take it to Claude. Now, I don't want insights. Of course, I can do it, but that's not really what I'm looking for. I'm going to say, make a heat map, okay, from green to red, which is large to small. So if you see, it is first extracting all the data, and then it is finding the min and the max value, doing the calculations, and this is amazing. Check this out. Just in one prompt, I have been able to get this. But do you see the challenge? It considered the grand total. Of course, that will be the highest one. So I have to tell it, no. Please skip the last row and last column because it doesn't make sense, right? If you take the grand total, of course, that will be the only green value. Everything else will be red. So I'm making that correction. And this time you notice, yep, like this, looks a lot better. Now I want to tell it that, but I do want to see the last row and column. Just do not add colors to it, right? So, that is the depth of prompting, the prompt framework, where you have to tell it exactly what you need. Otherwise, how will it know? Perfect. I mean, this is amazing, right? And now if you say, okay, can you create a line chart, right? On hover, which is the tooltip, on hover, tooltip should show the MOM percentage change, which is the month over month change. That means from 98 to 103, what is the change? From 137 to 98, what is the change? Correct? So I'm asking you to do two things, line chart and a MOM calculation. So imagine I'm not doing the calculation myself. It's doing it on its own. So let it write all the code. By the way, you can see the entire code, right? So if you notice, like if you're curious, you can actually see the entire analysis. So it's first taking all the data. Look at this. Calculating the percentage change for each year. So it's saying data with MOM changes. And then it's saying index is greater than 0. That means if it's the first month, how can January have a value? Because it's the first year of the month. And it's basically saying monthly data index -1. That means it's going to the previous month. That's it. And now if you see, you get this. I can also filter what I want. And it's even better because if I only want to see the current years, 22 and 21, check this out. Do you see that value, MOM change? Beautiful, right? Like the first one is NA, but you get this. and then you can customize it. You can tell it, don't show me an NA value or something like that, right? But I hope now you all have confidence and awareness that so much is possible. It's just a question of, spending time and exploring all of these things. You can't download it because if you download it as a TypeScript file, a TSX file, to host it somewhere, that's different. It's not HTML. So you'll need to figure out some other way like a Replit or GitHub or something. But that's beyond the scope of this session. But yeah, this is how it works.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, the heat map you created, was it dynamic? Like if I am making an Excel dashboard, will it be connected with slicers?
When you say dynamic, what does it mean?
Like if I am making an Excel dashboard and for example there is an Excel there is a slicer. So will it be is it possible to connect it with them?
No, if the question is it connected to Excel? It can't be because I'm uploading the Excel file, right? So yeah, I mean, maybe if the file is hosted on like a OneDrive, then in the code, rather than putting the data like this, I can connect it to OneDrive, retrieve the data from there, and then it becomes dynamic. Makes sense, right?
Oh yes, yes. Okay.
So this was a local upload, right? So of course it's not dynamic. Of course, if I imagine, everyone, hold on. So imagine that I apply a filter for the market. Let's say I take euro. Now it is dynamic in the sense that if I give it a new data and I tell it do the same for this new data, of course it will get updated. But then there's no linkage between my local file on my computer, right? That is only possible. I mean, that will require a bit of coding. So rather than hard coding the value, you will have to connect it. Maybe through an API or something, you'll have to get these numbers from like an online database, OneDrive, SharePoint, like that. Perfect. What else? Any other question? Yeah, this was one part I sort of left out, so I thought I'll cover it. Cool. I think it's all from my side. Thank you everyone for joining, and I hope you had, some takeaways and some learning. Of course, there's a lot to practice, right? But at least now you're aware of what is it that I'm teaching at companies and, what type of capabilities are available now. This is, by the way, the new one, right? So if you notice, 3287, 3287, right? So yeah, I mean, in that way, it is updated, right? This, by the way, was the first one. I'm sorry, not this one. This one. 1264, 3287, right? Like that. Yeah, by the way, this was the DAX formula on, DAX and M code, just like an Excel formula. It can write any formula. In fact, it will even tell you what variations are there, which is amazing, right? Perfect. That will be all from my side, everyone. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, you can let me know.
So, as we wrap up, I want to thank you for sharing the knowledge. It was truly an insightful session, and we have learned so much about how AI can make Excel more powerful and useful for decision making. And thank you for everyone for joining in. If you have any questions, you can ask, and have a great day.
Okay, I think this seems to be all the questions we have. Thank you, everyone.